Americans, you don't need a tariff. You need a revolution. For decades, your government and oligarchs ship your job to China, not for diplomacy, not for peace, but to exploit cheap labors. And in the process, they hollowed out your middle class, crushed your working class, and told you to be proud while they sold your future for profit.
I'm a petty ass bitch, so the level of petty that the Chinese vendors are exuding right now is soothing my soul. I almost feel satiated. I almost feel like I need to step up my own level of petty. What the fuck do you mean a Birkin bag is $38,000 in store, $1,400 out the factory?
Hello from China. Let me show you the United States products in my home. Nothing. Do you have something from China in your home?
I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but they will be taking this app away from us. Why you say that? That Chinese man came on here and said, these are all the things I have in my house from America. Now, what do you have in your house from China? He ate with that. He ate us up with that. And another man came on here and said, what y'all need to do is start a revolution. He said, they shipped all y'all jobs over to China for cheap labor. And he said, did we make money off of it? Yeah, we sure did. But you know what we did with the money? We actually helped our people. We actually built infrastructure. We actually made housing affordable. We gave them healthcare. And what did y'all get? Nothing. They've been on here eating us up. That man also said the American government is doing that to y'all because y'all allow it. When they get in that briefing room and they start talking about all these posts that China is making on TikTok, airing their dirty laundry out, yeah, go ahead. They're gonna say, see, the Chinese communist app gots to go. Gots to go. They're gonna take it. They're gonna take it.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel once again. My name is Dash Lifestyle. Kindly for watching me for the first time, remember to subscribe, like, share, and also comment. So guys, as we all know, there is a trade war going on between the China and the United States. Chinese, they're coming out and exposing the biggest brand in United States by these big brands. They have been buying things in China at a lower price, but when these people, they are bringing these things in United States, they are rebranding and also they are selling it at a high cost to meet the standards of American. So majority of Americans, they have come out and are shocked. They are being shocked and also they are reacting. How comes that America, it has been hiding all these things from them? Because the Chinese, they have come out and exposed the biggest brand in United States by buying things at a cheaper price, and they're selling these things in United States at a higher price. So I want us to watch the reaction of white Americans and also black Americans reacting after realizing that for all along they have been buying the same things, the same quality at a high price. So kindly guys watch this till the end, then I'll be back with more comment.
I told y'all yesterday that the United States will not win in a trade war against China. Hey y'all, I'm Tabitha. If you come across this video and are not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and click that subscribe button. I will be happy to have you. If you've come across my video out there on social media and aren't following me on any of my social media pages, please hit that follow button. I will be happy to have you, unless you MAGA. I don't do MAGA. But like I said, the United States will not win this trade war against China. I got me a few good keys on yesterday watching some of the China videos. Now, a lot of people are saying it's all coordinated. It's a coordinated attack because you can't get TikTok in China. So how are all of these China distributors putting out these videos? I don't think you can't get TikTok in China. I think you can get TikTok in China. I think the TikTok in China is totally different from our TikTok. I think the TikTok in China The content looks more like what's over on Red Note. Yeah, because I remember seeing videos coming from creators over in China, but it's nothing like the videos that we're exposed to here in the United States. But yeah, China is clowning the United States real bad. But this one right here, this one's my favorite.
They rob you blind and you thank them for it. That's a tragedy. That's a scam. That's why I'm saying this right now. Americans, you don't need a tariff. You need a revolution. For decades, your government and oligarchs ship your job to China, not for diplomacy, not for peace, but to exploit cheap laborers. And in the process, they hollowed out your middle class, crushed your working class, and told you to be proud while they sold your future for profit. And yes, China made money, but we used it to build roads, lift millions out of poverty, fund healthcare, raise living standard. We reinvested in our people. My family also benefited from it. What did your oligarchs do? They bought yachts, private jets, mansions with golf course driveways. They manipulate the market, dodge tax, and poured billions into endless wars. And you get stagnated wages, crippling healthcare cost, cheap dopamine, debt, and flag wave property made in China while they pick your pocket. For 40 years, both China and the United States benefit from the trade, the manufacturing, but only one of us use that wealth to build. This isn't China's fault. This is yours. You let this happen. You let the oligarchs feed your lies while they made you fat, poor, and addicted. Now they blame China for mess they made. I don't think so. I don't think you need another tariff. You need to wake up. You need to take your country back. I think you need.
He ended the video by saying, I think you need a revolution. Listen, white America, he's talking to you. For decades, they've used your racism. They've used your hate towards Black people, Latino people, LGBTQIA plus people, women. They've used your racism and your hate for other marginalized communities to pick your pockets. For years, for decades, they used your hate and your racism, your desire to want to oppress other groups so that you can feel supreme. Yeah, they use that to build themselves wealth. Yeah, they told you that you were better than all the other marginalized communities. Donald Trump is doing that now. He's talking bad about marginalized communities while selling you a dream, and he is making a whole lot of money, and you aren't. The millionaires and billionaires that he surrounded himself with, they're making all sorts of money. And you aren't. And they got to be in these positions because they used your hate and your racism to get them into those positions. And now they are doing nothing for you. What they are doing benefits them, and they're using your pennies to do it. We don't have free health care in this country because you don't want Black people to have free health care. We have a serious homeless problem in this country. And why? Because you don't want the government to help Black people to get housing. You vote against everything that is in your best interest because you don't want Black people to have access to it. Yeah. You want Black people to stay in their place. Meanwhile, in doing that, the rich people are keeping you in yours. See, you think you have kinship with rich white people. You don't. They look down upon you. Yeah, your trailer park, their luxury. Hopefully one day you're going to wake up to it. I don't have faith in you, though. This is the game that they have been playing. Corporations, the millionaires and billionaires. This is the game that they have been playing for decades. And you've been voting for the ones who support the corporations and the millionaires and billionaires. Yeah, that's why you have crumbling roads and bridges. That's why your education in this country sucks. That's why when Black people got on TikTok and started talking about Black history, that's why you were clueless. You voted for the people that were against education. They didn't want you to know the truth about how this country operates. And so they used your hate and your racism to get what they wanted done. You voted for low wages. You voted for lack of health care. You voted for no housing. You voted for poor quality of food. That's what you voted for. And you did it all because you thought it will keep Black people, Latina people down. And it worked. It worked. But now you are waking up. You are waking up to the fact that you thought it was just Black people that were going to be harmed by the Republicans' policies. You're waking up to realize that you are doing just as bad, if not worse. All by your doing. So don't be mad with China when you look at their videos and they're showing you how well they are living. How the cost of living is so low and so affordable. Free health care. They don't pay property taxes. Their food is healthy. Don't be mad with China. Be mad with yourselves. Because as you look at your horrible, pitiful life compared to that of the people over in China, I'm here to remind you that this is what you voted for. And as I head out, I want to remind you, the United States will never win this trade war against China. As part as the trade between China and the United States, China would import beef and chicken into their country, bringing billions of dollars into the United States. Farmers doing well. China has now suspended importing chicken and beef and sorghum. China will now be getting their beef from Australia. Truth be told, the beef in Australia is probably more healthy than the beef that they were getting from the United States. In addition to that, China has halted exporting rare earth and other materials to the United States. Can you say up Schitt's Creek without a paddle? Beijing has restricted the export of 7 rare earths and related materials used across the defense, energy, and automotive industries as part of its retaliation against the United States and Donald Trump. Exporters must now apply to the Ministry of Commerce for licenses, a relatively opaque process that can range from 6 or 7 weeks to several months. Yeah, the United States will not win this trade war with China. And you got Donald Trump talking about, China call me. China ain't calling Donald Trump for shit. China does not need the United States for shit. And the United States can't force China to do trade with this country. Buckle up, buttercups. I see some real tough days ahead.
This country is very powerful. We have weaponry that nobody has any idea what it is, and it is the most powerful weapons in the world that we have.
You have the most powerful weapon in the world, yet you can't feed and house your people. You have the most powerful weapon in the world that nobody's seen before, yet your people can't see themselves employed. Your people can't see themselves with a livable wage. Livable wage. What Tupac say? You have weapons for war, but can't feed the poor. What is it to have the most powerful weapon in the world? 500 military bases across the world, across the globe, bullying nations into subjugation, yet your very own people don't get to reap the reward of your spoils of war. Your people live in a nation right now that are struggling, don't have adequate access to health care, education down the fucking drain, infrastructure to hell, babe. But you want to get on the stage and brag about having the most powerful weapon in the fucking world. What is to have the most powerful weapon in the world? You know what it's giving me? It's giving me big balls, giving me big ball, big dick energy, but you flaccid. With your 500 bases, like I say, across the globe, bullying other people while sacrificing your very own people from home. And when they come home, all them profits that y'all made from them war, they don't get to see a fucking dollar. From them fucking profits, they don't get to see a fucking dollar. They out in the streets dealing with a mental health crisis. Your veterans that you sent out there to utilize all this powerful weaponry that you got out there come back to a home where they don't have a fucking home. And that's the fucking truth. And everything that I've just said right now, even your base would agree, boo. You fighting with China right now that literally lifted their people out of fucking poverty. Prioritized education, prioritized healthcare. All the while you are bragging about a weapon that who's gonna fund besides the very people that you can't do the same for. You out here braggadocious about the most powerful weapon nobody's seen underneath the sun. That who gonna fund? The very people that you texted out of oblivion to pay for your hot ass military industrial complex budget, son? Nah, I'll tell you one thing. The most powerful weapon, the most powerful bullet or a bomb shouldn't mean shit to a nation that's struggling with houselessness, food insecurities, a mental health illness crisis, inadequate healthcare resources, inadequate access to healthcare. So answer me this, at the end of the day, what does the most powerful weapon in the world that nobody has seen before mean to a nation of fucking zombies? Coming from a nation of fucking zombies. So you can get on the stage and talk about the most powerful weapon in the world. I hope with those that fucking got sense and respect for themselves, it can literally register and not mean shit. Okay.
China dominates the global economy because it embraces what America fears most, real labor. While the West chases branding and financial bubbles, China built an entire empire on actual production. And now their rise exposes a fatal flaw in white capitalism's disdain for work. For centuries, white economic elites have structured society around avoiding labor, while extracting it from others. Enslaved Africans built the global South's wealth, while European aristocrats and plantation owners positioned themselves as gentlemen, a tradition that frames manual labor as racially inferior. After slavery, Jim Crow and other exploitative labor laws kept Black and immigrant workers in underpaid production roles, while white capitalists rebranded themselves as managers, investors, and entrepreneurs. The Industrial Revolution amplified this divide. White industrialists like Carnegie and Rockefeller glorified themselves as self-made, while their fortunes rested on child labor, immigrant sweatshops, and violent union suppression. By the late 20th century, America began offshoring its labor to China, not just for cheap wages, but because whiteness had fully divorced itself from the stigma of manual labor. U.S. executives justified this by labeling manufactured jobs as low-skilled, a racially coded term, while pouring money into marketing, financing, and branding, industries that produce nothing tangible but generate massive profits through psychological manipulation. Meanwhile, China weaponizes America's labor aversion. They built the world's most efficient manufacturing base, not just by making goods, but by mastering supply chains, infrastructure, and real productivity. Now China controls 80% of global solar paneling, 70% of lithium refining, 50% of shipbuilding, while the U.S. economy relies on inflating stock value, branding hollow luxuries, and predatory gig work. Now, what is the result? China's GDP has grown 40 times since 1990. US wages stagnate as labor is devalued and jobs are replaced with hustle culture. America's infrastructure crumbles while China builds high-speed railways, smart cities, and AI-driven factories. White capitalism's contempt for labor has left America with a failing economy, one where finance bros are richer than engineers, influencers out-earn factory workers, and branding is valued over building. China's dominance proves that real power comes from production, not propaganda. The US can either confront its racist labor hierarchy or reinvest in real work, or watch as the next century belongs to those who aren't afraid to get their hands dirty.
It's funny as hell how China, who don't even have TikTok, is now flooding TikTok with all the secrets. China don't even have TikTok, but yet now they flooding the pages with how people been getting ripped off for years. All this happened because of y'all dear leader Donald Trump. They was gonna let everybody have their secrets and trick people into buying like this the real thing. Now they coming out like, no, everything is made here, right here behind this warehouse, $2, and then it come to us, 400, 500. So I don't know what Trump then did to these people. These people has now taken over TikTok, and they don't even have TikTok. They got their own called Red Note. But now you see all these people saying, buy from me. You can buy directly from me. I saw one of them say, you can buy 34 pair of shoes for $10. The real thing. So, Trump, you done messed up on this one. China's about to win the trade war. They're about to win the minds of the people who was buying that garbage. They're about to shut down these scams, what these people doing. So, China is taking over TikTok again, y'all. It's letting us know the real grittiness to this shit. Shit crazy. Should have left him alone, dog. Should have left him alone, dog.
Donald Trump and JD Vance and MAGA supporters do not understand about China is that China is in a completely different realm of their own. This is precisely why I say Americans need a reality check. Because if you actually believe you can bully China into doing whatever you want them to do, you are sorely mistaken. China has faced numerous amounts of wars, genocides, invasions, civil wars, etc. You name it. They have been through it. The Sino-Japanese, Indian, and Vietnamese War, the Korean War, and the Chinese Civil War. This is particular to the 20th century, by the way. This is not including their 1,000 years worth of history. China has faced destruction many times over throughout the centuries. They had 2 opium wars against the Qing dynasty and Western countries. One of their biggest wars ever recorded was the Taiping War that lasted 14 years, stretching all across 17 provinces. 20 million people died during the Taiping Rebellion. However, one of the most important battles in Chinese history is the Battle of the Red Cliffs in 208 AD. Still relatively talked about today because the battle itself was a narrative of David and Goliath. Millions upon millions of people died during the creation, evolution, and the awakening of China of what it is today. Some of you might be wondering, well, what is so important about this? That is one of the main reasons why their envelopes are red every time they celebrate Chinese New Year. It is to appreciate and to give thanks to all the blood and sacrifices that was spilled on China's soil. China is one of the most diverse countries in the world, with many Africans and Black people and many different ethnicities and minorities residing in the country. Culture is vast, complex, with many different philosophies, religion, and much more. Despite all of their differences and unique features, all of them are Chinese. Their origins, their ethnicities, and their culture is what makes them who they are. But under that flag, they're all Chinese. The Hans, the Tibetans, the Uyghurs, they all have their own thing. But they're all united as one at the end of the day. It does not matter your race. It doesn't matter what you come from. It doesn't matter how light you are or dark you are. Under that flag, you are one of them. Something that America will never achieve, unfortunately. Not to mention the immense amount of support that China is giving to the African continent, recruiting African countries into their ranks and helping Africa escape the grasp of Europe and America. There is a lot of history and diplomatic relationships on why I respect China. But I also have a lot of personal feelings of why I also respect Chinese people and China as a whole. So I would say this from the deepest part of my soul. Donald Trump, JD Vance, and MAGA supporters, if you genuinely believe that you can bully China into getting them to do what you want to do, you are foolish as you look. From a country that has lived around for thousands upon thousands of years, with millions upon millions of people that has shed blood and sacrificed for their country, compared to a country that has barely been around for 400 years, you need a fucking reality check. And I genuinely, from the deepest part of my soul, I hope they deliver it to you. That's all I gotta say. I'm gone.
A lot of people are going to be like, well, duh, everybody knows that you're paying for the name. But my thing is, for what? If the vendors just told us that you could get this bag out of the factory, $1,400, probably a little bit more, but still, why would I pay $38,000? Or why would I be jealous, envious, or feeling some sort of shame at the status of my life because I don't have $38,000 to spend on a bag that they didn't have to spend $38,000 on either? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like the Chinese vendors just crashed the fashion stock market, if you will, because the whole point of a Birkin is that they are handcrafted. It takes like 18 hours. It's supposed to be artesian, high quality level craftsmanship, and the production, everybody can't get one. That was the whole point. But if we just figured out who your fucking vendors are, because the vendors were like, hey, it's us, and now we know how much it costs to actually make your bag, and now we can just buy that bag out of the factory without the name, what is now the point in the Birkin? What makes it an investment? It's a $50,000 bag sitting in your closet, and now we have it for $3,000. Why would I spend $50,000 on a bag that costs $3,000? Not only did the vendors giving us a price breakdown kind of diminish the allure behind the bags, I also feel like it's the same concept with an iPhone. Every year y'all sell us something new, more expensive, but it's the same shit and probably less quality, because as time goes on and we keep using more and more non-renewable resources, the quality of the shit that we have is going to diminish as well. So just thinking about the quality of the leather in the past, it was probably better, just to be, practical and realistic. So in that sense, why would I overpay for something when I know I can get the same exact quality in this thing?
Who are the suppliers behind Salomon, Timberland, New Balance, Adidas, Nike, la 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 la? First, Baocheng Factory, one of the world's largest OEM sports shoe manufacturer. It is like a Foxconn in the shoemaking industry. During its heyday, it has over 100,000 employees in just one of its factory in Dongguan. What's even surprised me is that it owns an independent brand called YY Sport. It's like a distributor for sports shoes like Nike and Adidas, same as like Locker in America and JD Sports in England.
So I'm guessing it's safe to say that China is currently winning this trade war. And all y'all motherfuckers that be out here when I was talking about reps and retail are the same fucking thing because they're coming from the same fucking place out there in China. Y'all thought I was crazy. Y'all said I was making shit up. See all those fake talking points that we've been using since the Cold War, about child labor, sweat. They don't do that shit. That's not how that shit work over there. It's not. But, good old American propaganda, American exceptionalism. We just think we're the best over here. The whole time, we really the ones living in sweatshops. And it all got exposed to the average American when they did this TikTok shutdown. And everybody flocked to Red App, and we saw how bad we were living in poverty over here. They got high-speed rails, affordable clothes, affordable fucking food. You know what I'm saying? The affordable housing. Whole time, we over here struggling in the slums. Then we over here going band for band on this trade shit. And we losing. Because they've been doing it, they've been preparing for this moment for decades, bro. They've been aligning themselves with the global south to replace our American consumerism so they could take the brunt of this bullshit, and it's working. They're literally flying goods into Vietnam in order to avoid the tariffs because and they're getting their goods brought into Vietnam and then flying them from there to China to avoid some of that tariff shit. They have the logistical supply chain and manufacturing means to take the brunt of this shit and come out on the positive end of what we can know. So America's been, bullying people for the longest. It's not working right now. Then look what they did with I Show Speed. That's how they're getting the younger generation to see like, okay, we're not that bad. They got I Show Speed to come out there to China and basically give them free promotion for like about 10 days. I think he used that 10-day visa-free shopping thing that they're offering, people to come out there and just buy stuff and see China. So we're losing socially, we're losing culturally, we're losing economically. The last thing that you can do is go to war. I'm telling you, it's coming, bro. They've literally like eradicated poverty, damn near. I think 90% of their population is in the middle class. But then you got Americans that'll say like, oh, well, middle class for them is like $15,000 a year. Yeah, but when their rent is like $200, you know what I'm saying? Their food is like $1. Like, what are we really doing here? You know what I'm saying? They can live a comfortable middle class life on $17,000 to $43,000 out there. Meanwhile, you got people in America making well over 6 figures and live paycheck to paycheck. See, but that's what happens when you have unchecked capitalism and you allow corporate entities and CEOs to take over and, you know, basically suck everything dry from the middle class, aka Reagan. This is when all it started, Reagan. Meanwhile, in China, their focus is the people. This is not vouching for them or any of that. It's just noticing the stark difference in between letting corporate greed and the dollar run a country versus people who care and understand the importance of supporting the people to get what you want.
China. I did not know Chinese people could be this petty. I see Chinese people and I'm like, they're very cutesy, they're very demure, they're very mindful. But Uncle Trump, you have pressed the wrong button. I don't know what you have done. I don't know what's going on, okay? So this is a novice ass. I have no idea. This is me watching from TikTok. But I don't know what's going on at the moment. But one thing for sure, I am loving the way Chinese people are being petty. I did not know you guys could be this petty. No, I don't know if you guys have stumbled across China FYP or Chinese FYP, this war going on between China and America at the moment. I am loving it. I'm loving the way they're spilling all the beans. Chinese people are spilling a lot. Don't come for my British ass. Actually, I'm not British, I'm Nigerian. Don't come for my Nigerian ass.
So while everybody's excited about learning about these Chinese manufacturers and these vendors, there's something very important that everybody needs to know. And as y'all can see, I do not gatekeep. I lived in China for years across 2 cities and traveled to well over a dozen cities in China. And while I am all for us fighting the power against American capitalism and the overall cost that a lot of folks have been paying for some of their favorite products from some of their favorite brands, recognize that a lot of these vendors are set up for brand, meaning that they are looking to provide services to people that need a multitude of products. What does that mean? A lot of these vendors are going to require something that is called an MOQ, which means minimum order quantity. So while you may want to just order your favorite athleisure outfit or maybe 2 or 3, they are going to be looking for people that are looking to buy 100, 500, 1,000 of a product. Now, if you're going to places like the Yellow app, you're able to buy one of your favorite style of shoe, jewelry, bag, and other types of apparel. So don't get discouraged, because this is also a time where small business can go up. You can become the neighborhood dollar store. You can become the neighborhood hair lady or beauty supply store. You could be the one-stop shop for school supplies. So if that means pulling the resources that you have or asking family, friends, associates to come in with you, this could be potentially the time to cut out the big man.
So guys, I hope you have watched that reactions video from Americans coming out and react after realizing that all along they were being conned. And also this trade war that it is going on between China and the United States, it is exposing a lot of things. Majority of Americans, they are now knowing what exactly it is happening, because the Chinas, they are coming out and exposing these big brands in United States by telling the people that these big brands in United States, they are coming to our country in China. They are buying these phones at a lower price. After buying these phones, the electronics at a lower price, these people, they are going with them in United States. While they are in United States, they are selling the same product that the Chinas they are producing. They are selling it in United States with a higher price. You can imagine they are doubling, they are tripling, they are doubling the price so that they can meet the standards of Americans. So because of this expose that it is going on of China exposing these big brands, majority of Americans, they have come out and react, and also they are praising this trade war to go on because it is exposing a lot of things that Americans they don't know, and this is like a revolution to American, because if it was not this trade war going on, majority of America, they could be still buying things in their country with a higher price, but these things that are being produced in China. You have heard what one Chinese, he has come out and say that in China there's nothing that China's they are being the China's that are being imported from United States. There is nothing, but you can see in America majority things which it is in America, it is being produced, it is being made in China. So this trade war that it is going on, for me I think the Americans, they are not going to win, because we know China, these people, they are very smart people, and a lot of things it is coming from China. Majority of the electronics it is coming from China. So China, this trade war which is going on between America and China, Americans, they are not going to win, because China, they are really mad with America, and they are coming out and exposing America very much. They are exposing everything that Americans, they are doing with China. So for me, I can tell you that right now, majority of Americans, they have come out and know, they are seeing, also as black people here in Africa, also we are seeing all this trade war which it is going on, and we are seeing also it is like a revolution to us that China, it is the biggest producer of electronics, and also these things that we are being sold to our country at a higher price, in China it is being sold at a lower price. So for me, I can tell you that Americans, they are happy to see to come out to reality and see this trade war unfolding, the hidden truth, and also for them, they will be now start to consider buying these the normal things rather than going to bought expensive thing which it is being bought in China at a lower price, while it is coming to their country, they are selling with a double price. So this, it will also affect the economy of America. And for me, I can tell you that America economy, it is going to fall down because of what it is happening. People, they are losing their jobs in America. Majority of Americans right now, they cannot even afford basic necessities. The government, right now, Donald Trump government, it is doing everything possible to destroy the economy of America. So for me, I can tell you that Americans, they need to be very careful with the person they choose to be in power, because things, they are not the same in America. So kindly guys, I don't want to talk too much. Subscribe if you haven't. Like this video, share, and also comment. See you on my next one. Bye bye guys.